as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar would say, once again, some people did something in the name of some religion on a plane. One of the most irritating features of life in the 21st century is that people who are at the pinnacle of success, people who are massively popular, people who are healthy and wealthy and powerful, will nevertheless constantly portray themselves as victims of oppression because if they can somehow keep their victim credentials up to date in spite of their success and fame and power, they can use victim status to block criticism when they say really stupid things or marry their brothers. Take the Borg queen of ingratitude, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar was born in Somalia. Her family fled Somalia during the Somali Civil War. She spent 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya. Her family was granted asylum by the United States of America in 1995 when she was around 13 years old. She became a U.S. citizen when she was 17 years old. She graduated from North Dakota State University in 2011. And now she's a hijab-wearing U.S. Congresswoman who spends her time blasting the United States as a genocidal, racist nation of hate-mongers who oppress Muslims. She openly and freely supports the BDS movement against Israel. She openly and freely calls for the abolition of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. She openly and freely calls for defunding and abolishing police. Now, I am not one of these guys who says, well, if you're going to criticize the United States, then go somewhere else. This is the United States of America, a country that was literally founded on the idea that people have the right to criticize other people, policies, government officials, and so on, and even to overthrow oppressive governments. Ilhan Omar is a U.S. citizen, and she can complain about her country, the United States, all she wants without any obligation to go back to that war-torn, Sharia-compliant hellhole she was born in. With that said, there is something exceedingly odd about a person being taken from a refugee camp in Africa to the United States, where she goes to school, goes to college, and is eventually elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, and then claiming to be oppressed by the evil, racist, genocidal country that took her entire family in, and then elected her to make its laws. There's something strange about a hijab-wearing Muslim immigrant in Congress constantly complaining about being a victim of oppression. But again, if you can twist anything, any event, any story into evidence of your oppression, you can keep your victim badge and use it to block criticism. Newsweek reports. A video of Christians singing worship songs aboard an airplane amassed more than 32 million views after Representative Ilhan Omar questioned if Muslims would receive the same treatment. The video shows a man playing guitar and walking through the plane's aisle while singing a Christian worship song on a crowded plane. Meanwhile, some passengers joined in while others sat in silence. The video quickly divided the internet. What doesn't divide the internet in 2022? Just think, if the whole world hadn't gone insane, what could reasonably be said about a clip of Christians singing on a plane? On one side, you could say, hey, that's annoying, they shouldn't be singing on a plane, the flight attendant should tell them to shut up. And on the other side, you could say, come on, it's Easter, they're not hurting anyone, let the Christians have fun and sing. That's it. That's all that can reasonably be said. But we're in 2022, where everything that happens is instantly sent to the munitions factory and weaponized for people's political agendas. Omar, one of 3 Muslims currently serving in Congress, weighed in on the video, attempting to draw a comparison to the way Muslims would be treated if they disrupted a flight to worship. Really? The Christians disrupted the flight? I think my family and I should have a prayer session next time I am on a plane. How do you think it will end? The Minnesota Democrat wrote. Well, Congresswoman Omar, we all know what would happen if you and your family members who were given asylum by the United States of America prayed on a plane. all the other passengers would gather around you and beat you, and they'd push you right out the door at 30,000 feet, because that's how Muslims are treated in the United States, isn't it, Congresswoman? Just like the Muslims who took over Times Square to pray. They're so oppressed in America that they're forced to pray in Times Square. Such an intolerant place. By the way, this flight wasn't even in the U.S., it was in Europe. I don't know all the details, but I've seen a bunch of people claiming that this was a chartered flight. The flight was reserved by a Christian ministry. There is a guy in the video who looks annoyed by the singing, so I don't know what the situation is. The question is, how do you look at this and see something about Muslims being oppressed in the West? The tweet quickly divided the internet, drawing backlash from many on the right, while others came to her defense. The debate over the tweet caused the Congresswoman to trend on Twitter Monday morning. Whatever keeps you trending keeps you relevant, am I right? Isn't it amazing that this is what causes a backlash and a defense and a debate and a trend in 2022? I just have to point out to everyone, if we have such shockingly comfortable lives that we get to sit around attacking each other on Twitter over a video of Christians singing a song on a plane, we've got it pretty good by historical standards. When I see something like this, I get to make a video and post it on YouTube. Seems like we've got it pretty good, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if, instead of constantly, endlessly complaining and whining and bickering over any little detail we happen to disagree about, we all sat back for just a few minutes and realized how much we have to be grateful for? If you really want to make a difference in the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, start by developing a sense of gratitude. That will impact every other area of your life and soon the lives of people around you. Some accused her of attacking Christians in the tweet. Ilhan Omar asks how people would react if her Muslim family sang their worship songs on a plane. I don't know, but it's gotta be better than the reaction to Christian worship in her home country of Somalia, where Christians are slaughtered for praying in public, wrote conservative commentator Ali Beth Stuckey. Let's read a few more responses to Congresswoman Omar's tweet. So, she tweeted, "I think my family and I should have a prayer session next time I am on a plane. How do you think it will end?" And the response is, "This was a charter flight for volunteers serving the refugees from Ukraine. Did you know that? I just spent a week volunteering at the train station in Przemysl, Poland, right across from the Ukrainian border, and I saw the same people there. They were playing to Ukrainian refugees stuck waiting for hours for transportation who just fled from the bombing of Kharkiv and Mariupol. I fly Etihad, Qatar, Emirates, and they have the prayer section in the back, and they have the beacon map facing to Mecca. I have no problem with it. It's culture from the national carrier's origin. In the U.S., most are offended by religion despite claiming any religion as its own. I haven't seen it in a while, but I have been on international flights where people got out their prayer rugs and prayed in the aisles. And how do you think this will end?" With multiple pictures of Muslims praying on planes. "I am an American Muslim. I prayed during the flights many times. No one threw me out of the plane to put me in jail. America is not perfect, but America has the highest religious freedom in the world." What's the takeaway in all of this? Simple. Victimhood sells. If you're not a real victim, or if you don't have enough real examples of how you're being victimized, not to worry. You don't need to go full Jussie Smollett to keep your badge of oppression. Every single day, things happen. Things that have nothing to do with you being oppressed. Your job, as a pretend victim, is to twist those things into more evidence of your oppression. People are so divided right now that if you say, "Help, help, I'm being oppressed," everyone who's already on your side will join you in a chorus, singing your praises like Christians singing about Jesus on a plane. Everyone who's not on your side will mock you, but guess what? You can use their mockery as more evidence that you're being oppressed. Follow this simple method and you too can enjoy every privilege that the modern world has to offer while still moaning and wailing about being abused and persecuted. It's a brave new world.